Alright guys, welcome back to their Master Apprentice video and podcast. Today we're going to be talking about some Star Wars news. There's a couple of things in here we've kind of already mentioned on stream a couple of times. But I just feel like it's big enough news that we should kind of talk about it and, just shed some light and truth on it, because it's kind of, there's been a lot of reports and rumors going around and some of them are contradicting, so it's kind of hard to get a feel what's actually true and what's not. We're mostly going to be talking about the upcoming Rey trilogy. We had heard for a while that they were going to be making some movies, hopefully coming out like 2026, 2027. One being Dave Filoni's Heir to the Empire, right, the Mandoverse movie, and then they were going to make like a New Jedi Order, right, with Obed Shinoy. And while those are still happening for the most part, then eventually later they're going to be making a Mandalorian and Grogu movie, right? Pretty much the fourth season of The Mandalorian turned into a movie made by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. And then we got new reports of recent that we are possibly getting what was Damon Lindelof and Stephen Knight's Jedi Order movie. That is no longer what's happening. Instead, they're still going to be making that new Jedi Order movie with Obed Shinoy. But also now, Simon Kinberg should be producing, writing, directing a Rey trilogy. And it's not necessarily a Rey trilogy, but it is the next Star Wars trilogy, episode 10, 11, and 12. And Rey is going to be a big part of it, right? Just like she's going to be a big part of the new Jedi Order movie. And as well, there are rumors that Sean Levy's Star Wars project in the future, he's supposed to be making a movie. Rey will be part of that. So there's talks about 5 upcoming movies with Rey being a big centerpiece. She might not be the main protagonist. That hasn't really been, stated by anyone. But obviously, if you're bringing a big actress like Daisy Ridley back, and you're kind of announcing it on Star Wars Celebration on stage, you would expect her to be a big part enough that she might even be the protagonist of the new trilogy, right? And when all of this information came out, we saw an article on the Hollywood Reporter that a lot of the executives at Disney were surprised by this. And that kind of just lends to believe, or let me to believe, and a lot of other journalists, that these announcements that they're making aren't a final. Like, they are projects they're working on, but the way Hollywood works, the way that especially these big IPs work, they always are circling in new ideas. And when something like a new trilogy gets past Kathleen Kennedy, that means yes, they are probably working on it, but that doesn't mean it's going to be happening anytime soon. That doesn't mean it's going to be happening 100% for sure. Right? We've seen plenty of projects that they announced. They even made a trilogy or a trailer for X-Wing Squadron movie, but that got delayed indefinitely, right? There's a couple things they've even announced that pretty much got delayed indefinitely, like the Lando show that is possibly now a movie. Like, there's a couple of things that they say is going to happen, and it never does, right? And this could be one of those things, especially if you hear reports that the executives were surprised by these announcements and statements. That means it hasn't passed all levels yet, right? And especially with something like Star Wars and Lucasfilm, that's been in a lot of distress and just not good situation, to say the least, right? They've had a lot of problems. There's been a lot of Lucasfilm in general. It's just not in a great state right now. They've had, like Acolyte pretty much just outright canceled. The Star Wars Outlaws game was pretty much a big debacle, right? They made this big game with Ubisoft. They promoted it, I think, decently well, and it went nowhere, right? So it's just showing the name isn't carrying from them anymore, right? They've got to do a little bit more work. And while I don't think the sequel trilogy has been as divisive as, the Disney Plus stuff, I think the Disney Plus stuff has actually been more divisive, which I don't think everyone thinks exactly. I think more people tend to put more of the blame on the sequel trilogy, which they do have some blame for being divisive, but I think the Disney Plus era of content, and especially a lot of the PR following it, really is where a lot of the divisiveness came from. And so I think building off of the back of that isn't going to help them. And I think with the announcement that Bob Iger is going to be out next year, we can see a good chance that Kathleen Kennedy is probably going to be gone with him as well. We've been hearing rumors about it. There's no reports, but there's heavy speculation that's probably going to be happening. Who knows? They might be greenlighting it now, but if Kathy and Bob Iger are both gone by next year, these Rey projects, who knows how long they're going to actually stay in circulation and actually be going forward. Is Rey ever coming back? Yeah, probably. I'm not going to say no because there's enough draw to that character as is. But there's also plenty of divisiveness in general with that character in those movies that I don't think they're going to full throttle those projects. So pretty much what I'm getting at is, yes, some of these Rey movies and episode 10, 11, and 12, the new trilogy, they are being rumored and reported. We're getting Rey content and just more sequel content in general. But B, that doesn't mean it's happening anytime soon. And C, it doesn't mean it's happening for sure, right? We could still get a lot of cancellations, a lot of delays, things like that. And more is going to be shed on it with next year with Star Wars Celebration and the Bob Iger leaving and most likely Kathleen Kennedy leaving as well.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that sequels are going to come out at some point, whether it's when they're planning on it or 10 years from now. Whenever they come out, they're going to come out at some point. And a lot of these projects that we've seen come out on Disney Plus, as Sammy was saying, have both not done great, and they've been, some projects have been delayed indefinitely, and some have been ones that were delayed. Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm pretty sure that there were rumors about that, 11 years before it actually came out? So it's possible this thing just gets delayed like crazy, but the main thing that we're getting at is, hey, this is the plan that there is kind of set in stone by Kathleen Kennedy, but she's gone. So whoever takes her place, it's not definite, it's not promised she's gone, but by having a report say she will stay until at least Q1, it's kind of implying that we don't know anything after that. So Star Wars is in for a big change. They've kind of needed it for a while.
Like I said, we've been talking about a lot of this stuff on streams. On Thursday, we usually stream around 6 p.m. So if you guys want to check that out, we usually bring it up because for the last month, it feels like there's a new report every other day with these Rey projects. Especially the Obi-Wan movie. That just seems like it's got a lot of divisiveness in general surrounding it. And then obviously the bombshell of a new Rey trilogy just doesn't seem to be handled perfectly, right? Like we said, there's obviously going to be new movies that I think Star Wars should return to that format, especially the trilogy format. That's where its bread and butter is. But I think fast-pacing a lot of these movies, fast-tracking them, is the wrong move to make. And with Bob Iger out and most likely Kathleen Kennedy, I think we can see maybe some more level-headed thinking coming in soon. So with all that, let's know what you guys think. Honestly, would you guys be excited for a new Rey trilogy or just a single movie? Honestly, if I had my pick, I would rather a trilogy over a single movie. That's just how I feel. I think you can do a lot more with a trilogy. There's a lot more forgiveness with a trilogy. You can kind of patch up more mistakes rather than just one movie. That's just how I feel. But in general, I'm not excited for any of these. The only thing I'm really, truly excited for would be Dave Filoni's Heir of the Empire stuff. That just shows how deep he's willing to go to pull some stuff back from the Heir of the Empire trilogy and all those Timothy Zahn books and all those legends, continuity, all that stuff. I think they have a lot to pull from that pocket, and I'm really excited to see what they can do with that going forward. So let us know what you guys think down in the comments. If you guys agree or disagree. If you guys are following on podcast, don't forget to hit that follow, download, and share. It helps out the pod a whole lot. If you guys are watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.